Rev up your engines!
Well, I can't believe the baloney that comes out of these people with electric cars. Tesla cars, a bunch of them started on fire in Feckenheim, Germany. Right? What the pro-electric car people say. Tesla cars burst into flames, but none of their batteries blew up, showcasing unbelievable safety. Okay, check out this picture at that Tesla dealership. All those cars burned down, right? And they're just saying, well, the batteries didn't explode. So what? The cars burnt down to the ground. They take even something where all these Teslas burnt down as a proof of how safe the cars are. Gee, my house burned down, but man, it was safe inside. I cannot believe the logic of these idiots that are pushing these things. You know, it's unbelievable. And, you know, they're acting like they're great things. They had to send 40 firefighters to put out a car fire. 40 firefighters. Now, if you don't see that that's really a pain in the butt, proving how stupid these electric cars are when they start on fire. And they're saying, well, the batteries didn't blow up. Look, it's a success. Success in my rear end. They all burnt down. They had to have 40 firefighters there. Okay, you get a normal car fire, they send one fire truck to put it out, maybe two. Not 40 firefighters, you know? It's just unbelievable. These people, they believe in this electric nonsense. And even when you show them burning down to the ground, all the cars are destroyed, they say that it's a success. These people are upside down. Nomad Man says, my 2019 Ford F-350 has gremlins. It's got 50,000 miles on it. It's getting weird. The running boards deploy normally, or one side comes out and retracts, or one side extends and the other doesn't. Sometimes the dash shows the compass instead of the digital speedometer must be reset. Sometimes the power steering wheel adjustment is non-functional. So time to get rid of it. But a fancy scan tool show any of these faults. Thanks for your service to us all. That's the problem with technology. Okay? You got a 350 King Ranch and you paid a lot of money for that thing, and now it's 5 years old and it's starting to break down electronically. That's typical with Ford vehicles, right? Especially the fancy ones. I've had customers buy their big giant ones, Expeditions and stuff, and the same thing happens. They like them, they drive them, but then you only got 50,000 miles on it. The electronics start falling apart because it has too much electronics. Many computer modules, computer bus lines that go all over the place. And as you found out, if you get a problem with one, it starts feeding back to the other ones. Now, a computer scan tool can analyze all that stuff if you got a guy who's got brains that knows to operate it. Let's say the only commonality of all those different things is the body control module. It could be the body control module starting to go out. And a good mechanic could test it. He might say, okay, you need a new BCM and reprogram it, and away you go. But realize that's only one module among the dozens of modules that the vehicle has, and any of them can feed back and do squirrely stuff like that. That's why I tell people, you might think all these little gadgets are neat and cool, but when they get older, and yours is now 5 years old, they start to break down and cost a fortune to fix. Frank L. says, my fuel pump fuse keeps blowing when I refuel car. It's a Nissan 2019 NV200. All right, if it only happens when you refuel the car, I'm thinking it's something to do with your anti-pollution system, your evap system, that keeps the vapors, the gasoline, when you fill it up, instead of going to the atmosphere, it goes to the charcoal canister. I would first check the evap vent valve, okay? That's electronic. If it was shorting out, it could pop your fuel pump fuse, right? The only other thing would be you got some kind of an electric short when your tank is full. The extra pressure of the gasoline is pushing on the fuel pump, making it internally short out. So you might need a new fuel pump. They're relatively expensive on those things. You didn't say how many miles you have. I can tell you right now, like if it's real high mileage, you're probably going to need a fuel pump. If it pops that fuse, it's a reasonably big fuse. Probably what it is. It's probably the pump is internally shorting out. Bowtie 409 says I got a 22 Tacoma, 5,000 miles. Is it ever okay to spray the engine compartment down with water to clean it? No, it isn't. Water and electricity don't go together, and that thing has more electronic crap on it. It would make your head spin. Now, it's sealed to some extent, right? You're driving in the rain but you're not hosing it down, right? Never do something like that. There's no reason to clean a Toyota Tacoma that has 5,000 miles. Now, let's say you're an off-roader and you're getting it covered with mud. Well, then you're in a pickle, because you're either going to have to clean the mud off or live with the mud. And generally, the mud isn't going to hurt anything. You might just leave the mud on, right? Because she starts spraying high-pressure water in there where all the computer modules are, all the electronics, the fuel injectors, the alternator. You can end up screwing things up. Engines aren't made to spray water in them. Back in the day, guys used to clean them and spray them down because they had a simple carburetor. And the distributor was electronic, and they'd put a plastic bag over the distributor and the spark plug wires and then spray away because that was the only electronics. But modern cars, no. Don't even think about doing that. Frank S. said, I got a 2010 Ford Escape with intermediate soft brakes. 2 or 3 times I went to put the brakes. The pedal went to the floor. Sometimes it lasted for 2 miles. Nobody could tell me what was wrong. Now I'm in the habit of pumping the brakes a few times every time I start it up, and hasn't done it in a while. No major issues with this car other than this. You have an intermittent problem, but you don't have any lights coming on, right? Now, if it was your anti-lock brake system, you're going to get anti-lock brake codes come up. The anti-lock brake light will come on when a mechanic like me plugs it in, there's codes. And you're saying, guys, looked at it and there were no codes. Go ahead and change your brake master cylinder. The brake master cylinder is physical. It has seals. As it gets old, pressure bleeds back inside itself, kind of like a heart murmur. You won't lose any fluid, but it won't go to the floor. And that's a logical thing to do. I mean, let's face it, the vehicle's what? 14 years old. Change the brake master cylinder. Now, if it was the ABS system and the computer wasn't analyzing it, right, it could still do it. But almost all the time in a Ford, if the ABS system is breaking down like that, it will trip a code like the dump valve is bad or something, but it'll have an ABS light on. And since you don't have any codes, just replace the brake master cylinder and take my advice. Do not buy some piece of crap discount auto parts store rebuilt one. Buy a brand new brake master cylinder. You don't want to tempt rebuilt crap when it's a brake safety issue. Nelson Moran says, you got to hear this. How they're trying to screw him over fixing his rental car. It's a fleet, so it's a lease, right? There's Scotty. I'm a salesperson. I drive a fleet car. 2020 Escape, 82,000 miles. I called them to say my rotors are bad and my brakes squeak. They sent me to the dealer and said, yeah, you need new rotors, but they're not changing the pads because they're still within specification. It's going to cost them over $600 to change the rotors, and they won't fix anything. This is too funny. Now, let's all put our thinking caps on. The brake pads squeeze the rotors, right? And the rotors are worn out and warped. Well, guess what? The brake pads squeeze the warped rotors. They become warped too. Well, the brake pads are within specifications. They're still thick enough, but they're warped, you know? Maybe it'll pull to one side or the other. Who the heck knows? But it just shows the stupidity of these things. It's a lease car, so he didn't have to pay for the repairs. Took it to the dealer, and the dealer, when they get any kind of warranty, they don't make any money, so they don't want to put anything in. I could get a set of brake pads for that car for $29. Why would they do a $600 job to save $29? It's beyond me, but that's how it goes with warranties. And anything that they got to fix for free, they're going to do the crappiest job, the cheapest way they possibly can, because they're not making any money, and they want to make money. It's a dealership that it's leased at, right? So the dealership doesn't want to tie their mechanics up on jobs where they don't make money, so they just whip it out as fast as you can. Next. That's why you don't want to deal with warranties most of the time, because they're going to screw you over. Camel292 says, I have terrible fuel economy in a Suzuki Swift. I live in a Cayman Island. In 140 miles, I run out of gas. It's horrible gas mileage. What could it be? Well, it's got a 10-gallon tank. I'm sure you're not running on fumes. There's still something left. So you're getting less than 14 miles a gallon in a Suzuki Swift, which is horrendous. It's a tiny little 4-cylinder engine, right? The first thing, you said there aren't any good mechanics in the Cayman Islands. I kind of agree. I've been to the West Indies, and there are no real good mechanics in most of them. They're just knucklehead parts changers, right? One, they're going to need equipment to analyze it with, right? Like I have fancy equipment. What you could start out with is pull out the 4 spark plugs and look at them, okay? If they're black, it's running super rich. Could be the fuel injectors are leaking and need replaced. It could be a bad fuel pressure regulator. Let's say they're all black. It could be the regulator, because that would affect them all. It would leak fuel and they'll all be black. Let's say 3 of them are normal and 1 of them's black. I would replace the black one's fuel injector. Could be a bad fuel injector. You can do logical tests like that. I mean, maybe I just hook up my fancy computer, start analyzing the data, and I could see, you know, it'd be real easy to figure out. If one injector's bad, that one would have misfires, and I'd see the codes and I'd immediately check that, and then I'd take it out and say, gee, it's black, and the first thing I would do would be a compression test. And if the compression was low in that cylinder, I'd say, well, the engine's just worn out. You don't have that many miles on it. You only got like 70,000 miles, but Suzuki's are kind of cheaply made vehicles, and their piston rings aren't that great. A lot of them burn oil, and then they just lose compression, and you're going to get horrible gas mileage. But pray it's something simple, like a bad fuel pressure regulator, leaking fuel injector. Something is seriously wrong for that little tiny puddle jumper to only go 140 miles on 10 gallons of gasoline. John Eisenberg says, Scotty, you got a troll trying to scam your subscribers. I left a comment. I got a request to go to Telegram and contact you at Michael Kilmer. I was told that, oh, I won a 2023 GMC Denali, and I just had to pay the delivery fee. Yes, somebody is trying to scam you. ScottyKilmer@gmail.com, right? That's me. I don't have any other ones that I use. That's my email. The only people who can have ScottyKilmer@gmail.com are me. As far as I know, Google doesn't share it with anybody else. I've been doing this so long on the internet that I was able to use my actual name at gmail.com. No dots, no pushes, no nothing, right? But there's all kinds of scumbags out there. And somebody says you won something, all you got to pay is delivery fee. Do not send them any money because you'll never get the GMC Denali, but they will take the delivery fee and take your money away. I don't do any of that kind of nonsense. I give people free advice, and I only have one email, ScottyKilmer@gmail.com. Anything else is just made up by somebody else. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.